Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming through and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show every Saturday, 1:30 Central Standard Time. Again, every Saturday, 1:30 Central Standard Time. You can catch it right here on Spreaker, Spreaker.com. You can also catch it on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Play, on YouTube, and very soon, maybe somewhere else as well. So stay tuned to the 800 Credit Score Man Show, and do me a favor and share this show with as many people as you can. Friends, family, all your followers on Instagram and what have you. Share the 800 Credit Score Man Show so you know that I'm excited. I'm excited today, particularly because next Saturday is the 1-year anniversary of the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And so next week, 1:30 Central Standard Time, we'll be right here celebrating that 1-year anniversary. So please come back next week and stay tuned to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. It's going to be a very good show. We're going to turn this mission into a movement. The mission has always been to help you increase your credit scores. Increasing your credit scores lowers the interest rates that you have to pay when you go to purchase something, and that in turn saves you money. And it saves you money when you have a higher credit score anyway in other ways. Go back and listen to some of the shows. I've had people contact me, talk about they just discovered the show and they've binge listened to the show. So I want to thank each and every one of them as well for doing so. I really appreciate it. So what in the world are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about the actions that impact your credit score, both positive and negative. We're going to talk about those actions. So do you know what actually impacts your credit score? Some of us have no idea what we're doing, why things work the way that they work, and then some of us have a limited amount of knowledge about it. So we think if we do this one thing, which let's say is pay your bills on time. If I pay my bills on time, then I must have a good credit score. That's not the only factor that goes to your credit score, and you can go higher even if you pay your bills on time and say you have a 720. A lot of people are stuck at a 720. That's a very good credit score. You don't have a problem at all getting anything that you want financed when it comes to your credit score being a factor. But you can absolutely go higher by doing some other things. So if you listen to the 800 Credit Score Man Show, if you've just discovered the 800 Credit Score Man Show, go back and listen to some of those previous episodes for the show itself. You can always catch them always on Spreaker. Of course, you can catch it on iTunes and Google Play as well. So go back and check those things out. I also need you guys to do me a favor. If you're listening to me on Spreaker, Spreaker.com, that's Spreaker, and even if you're not listening to me on Spreaker, go to Spreaker, and there you can follow me. If you follow me on Spreaker, then you'll get notified every time a show airs. And like I said, I've been threatening to do this, so sometime during the week, I may just pop on and, maybe use like 10 minutes, 15 minutes and talk about something, let you know what's coming up. So that would be a great resource for you to have as well. So go to Spreaker.com and follow me there. All right, so let's talk about these actions that impact your credit score. So here's one thing, of course, that you should all know. This is a negative. If you have late payments, that's going to negatively affect your credit score. So I work with clients all of the time. I do credit restoration, and I do it right. So I work with clients all the time, and we're dealing with their past issues, but I'm also teaching them and informing them how they can go higher, to how they can have a better credit score as well. So it's not only taking care of whatever collections you may have, whatever errors may be on your credit report, but there are also these positive things that you can do. So oftentimes, while we're in the middle of this great plan that we have to get your credit score restored, there is a late payment that hits. And so after we've done a few things and your credit score has jumped 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes 80, 90 points, then you have a late payment. Now, a late payment far as the credit bureaus are concerned, is 30 days late. So if you become 30 days late on anything that reports to your credit bureau, doesn't matter if it's your mortgage or if it's a credit card or if you got a personal loan or a student loan, if that late payment hits your credit report, then your score is absolutely going to fall. It could fall 30 points. It could fall 40 points, 60 points. If it's a mortgage, sometimes it can fall 90 or 100 points. So you've just negated everything that you worked so hard for. So do not have any late payments. So that's absolutely a negative. Another thing that can impact your credit score is collections. So if you let something go to collections, if you let your cable bill go to collections, then that's going to be an issue. If you let a medical bill go to collections, that's going to be a serious issue for you. So your credit score is going to fall 40, 50, 60 points. You never know how much it's going to be. And it doesn't matter if it goes to collections and you owe somebody $2 or if you owe somebody $20,000. If it goes to collection, it's going to have a negative impact on you. And so it doesn't matter what the range is. So it doesn't matter if you say, I just have a $200 bill, it's no big deal, and it went to collections, I paid it. That is still going to negatively affect you as if you had a deal that was $10,000. Okay, so make sure that you don't have any collections when it comes to your credit report. Now, what about settlements? We haven't discussed this really on the show, but what about settlements? Now, if you went back and you listened to some of the shows, if you've been with us for, since the beginning, thank you so much, first of all. If you've been with us from the beginning, in collections, I talked to you guys about settling, and that's getting a reduced amount for whatever they say you owe. So if they say you owe $800 and you settle with them for $400 for them to clear out your collection, we're talking about also having that removed from your credit report. So it doesn't matter at all if it says settled or what have you on there, because it's going to come off of your credit report. But let's say you have an account that's relatively good. Maybe you were late once, maybe you were never late at all, but you're seeing that you're going to have some financial issues. So you contact this particular company and you say, I'm having some financial issues. I know I owe you $500. I can't pay you $500 and something's going to be going on with me. So will you take X amount? Will you take $350 and let's call it a wash? Now they may say, yes, absolutely, sure. We'll take this $350 from you and we'll, close out your account. We'll end your account. On your credit report, it may list account settled or a settlement amount on your credit report. So that actually is a negative for you when it comes to that. So you saved yourself some money. You saved yourself $150 or whatever it is. You saved yourself some money. You don't have to worry about it anymore. That account is now, closed, and you don't have to worry about making that payment anymore. And maybe that's what you needed. You have to be the one to decide if that's what you actually need and going to be best for you. But do know that a settlement of that type may hit your credit report, and if it does, it's a negative for you. I have no idea how many points your score may go back down. What I do know that it may be in the best interest for you to do that, and if your credit score only goes down, let's say 10 or 20 points, those 10 or 20 points you can absolutely get back by doing other things that are positive for your credit and your credit report and score. All right, so settlements may be a negative for you. All right, and so now I have sort of a trick question. If you've been following along, you've been listening, you've heard the shows, then I'm going to ask you this question. Do judgments and liens impact your credit score negatively? So if you are out there listening, you're thinking about it, do they impact it? And you're saying, well, I have a lien or I've had a civil judgment on my credit report. It's in collections or it's in the public records portion if you look at your credit report. And so, yes, that is a negative. It's the reason it's a trick question is because as of July the 1st, so coming up really, really soon as of July the 1st, the three major credit bureaus, which are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, are no longer going to be collecting that data. So if you have a civil judgment now, let's say you skipped out on some rent somewhere and the landlord went ahead and filed for you. You lost the case, so you owe the landlord $1,800. You still owe that judgment, but it is not going to be appearing on your credit report. So as of July the 1st, those judgments, those civil judgments will no longer be on your credit report. So it will no longer have the negative impact that it had before. So if you had one a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's still on your credit report. As of July the 1st, it's supposed to come off. Do not contact me come July the 2nd and say, hey, this is still on here, because, of course, they run a little slow sometimes. If you have one on there, it'll come off eventually. I wouldn't wait until September and October and it's still on there and not say anything to anyone. But in the month of August, in the month of September, and you still see it's on there, then I would start to contact the credit bureau and make sure that they have that removed from your credit report. So I mentioned judgments and liens. So any kind of lien, if it's a tax lien, if it's a tax lien from the state, or if it's from the Fed, then a property tax lien, then those items will come off your credit report July the 1st as well. So a lot of people, people don't mess around with their taxes, especially if it's the Fed, if it's state taxes and you've paid them. Once it hits your credit bureau, because they are not shy, or were not shy before, of placing that on your credit report. If it hits your credit bureau, then typically people went and paid it. So your state taxes, you might have owed $300 and you didn't have it at the time, so you paid them a month later, or you paid them 2 months later, but it was already on your credit report. You've paid them. It's coming off your credit report. If you filed this year and there was an issue and you haven't paid as of yet, it's not going to go on your credit report, because basically TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian have already stopped collecting that data for new items that might appear on your credit report. So that information is going to be gone. So that was the trick question to you guys. Did your judgments, or do you think that judgments and liens have a negative impact on your score? And so the answer is formally yes, but now it's going to be a no, because it's not going to show up on your credit report. Doesn't mean you still don't owe them, but you're going to have to, but it's going to come off your credit report. And make sure you pull your credit report afterwards, after July the 1st, to make sure that that information is gone off of your credit report. So the next item that might be a negative for your credit report would be inquiries. So yes, if you have a lot of inquiries, and that's like, actually the credit bureau says that 6 or more is too many inquiries. Now, a lot of people have 6 or more, because oftentimes you'll go buy a car and they'll run your credit 10, 20, who knows how many times they'll run your credit when you go to buy that vehicle. So that is a negative for you. So be aware of all of the inquiries you have. Now, I've mentioned in the past, when you go to buy a vehicle, or if you apply for a mortgage, you have about a 2-week window. I think the credit bureaus say 3 weeks. I don't trust that. So within a 2-week window, you have to go and apply for a vehicle. If you're going to, a car dealership, apply for a vehicle at several places, and the credit bureaus will only count that against you one time. So you won't get that count against you, the 15 times they ran your credit, only one time. Same thing with the mortgage. So you have the ability to go ahead and shop rates at different places, and you can pick and choose who you want to go with. So inquiries are definitely a negative for you. So only apply when you absolutely need it. So I'm going to take a short break right here from giving you the items that may impact your credit report and your credit score. And we're going to give a couple of shout outs. So that I shout out people all of the time. So I'm going to give out some shout outs. Before I give out the first personal shout out, I want to say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my wife, Yolanda. Happy Mother's Day to you. I definitely want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Irene King. Happy Mother's Day. My mother-in-law, Dolores Garrett. Happy Mother's Day to you as well, and all of the moms out there. There are a couple of people I know that are new moms. So Kayla Bodie, I want to say happy first Mother's Day to you. And then also Monique Crane, I want to say happy first Mother's Day to you as well. So let's go to the first personal shout out for today is Troy West. So Troy West celebrated a birthday earlier in the week. So happy birthday to Troy West. All right, so let's get It's already 15 minutes. So if you're new to the show,